Hello guys, welcome back to the Brutal Investor channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. In this episode, we're going to talk about a tokenized asset that has recently been added to the Coinbase's roadmap, which means this project has a very high chance of getting listed on Coinbase, and this token is called Marinade Staked Sol, or the Msol token, right? Again, if you guys have watched my Marinade finance video, which I uploaded like 2 days back, you would recollect that this is basically a tokenized version of Solana that is available to be used in the Solana DeFi ecosystem, right? So that's the main focus of the token. And if you want to watch the introduction for Marinade Finance, please check out that video, which I uploaded 2 days back, which talks about Marinade Finance itself and talks about the platform, along with the app, and goes through some of the details of this project itself, right? So today in this video, I'm not going to go through that process because I've already done that 2 days back. I'm just going to talk to you guys about Marinade Staked Sol, or the Msol token by itself as its own token entity, right? So the reason why I want to talk to you guys about this as its own token entity is that this token, first of all, has been added as a possible roadmap token, which means Coinbase considers this token as its own unique asset, which could be listed as it is on Coinbase. And if that happens, you'll be able to trade two tokens on Coinbase, for one for the actual Solana and the other one for Msol, right, which is the staked version of Solana. So what this means is Msol represents the staked Solana, and therefore this is accruing interest. It's accruing staking rewards as you hold this token, right? So when you sell Msol to get Sol, you get the Solana tokens, right, plus some accrued staking rewards for selling this token. So Msol is always going to be worth more than Sol because it has Solana plus the accrued staking interest, right? So that's the reason why Msol is a very unique and a very interesting token, which you can also not only use for selling to get Solana as well as the underlying interest rates, but you're also going to be able to use Msol in its own way to trade as its own token entity, as well as use Msol on the Solana ecosystem for multiple DeFi applications as well, right? So again, you can go through all the information at the bottom, because here on CoinMarketCap's page, they do provide some brief introduction of what Msol is. So basically, it's pretty much the exact same information as Marinade Finance, which provides you with an opportunity to stake assets like Solana on their platform to get a liquid asset called Msol, right? So that's the quick gist of it. And if you go to CoinMarketCap's page, you can first of all see that this token has its own ranking, and it's ranked 634th by market cap on CoinMarketCap, and it's currently trading at $32.97 at the time I'm making this video, right? So I'm going to draw a lot of comparisons with Solana itself, because that's the best way for you guys to understand how this token is unique compared to Solana. So obviously Solana is the main coin of the Solana ecosystem, and this is ranked number 9th. And as you can see, Solana itself is trading at $30.94, and it's also up 8.74%. So if I go back again and I compare Msol, you can see Msol is slightly more expensive and a slightly higher cost in the sticker price compared to Sol itself. But Msol is also pretty much performing, in a green direction, just like how Solana is performing, right? So what this means is, when Solana is getting traded, a lot of people are more likely to buy Msol, or more likely to stake their Sol with Marinade Finance and get Msol. When Solana goes down, most people would want to get back their Solana from the Msol, so they would most likely sell Msol to get back Sol, right? So what I'm saying is there's a direct correlation in price action between Msol and Sol, which you can take advantage of in certain situations, especially when the market is going up, down, or sideways, right? So that's a key difference here. The ranking is also a key difference as well, because Marinade Sol is ranked 634th, whereas the actual Solana is ranked number 9th, right? And if you want to access Msol, you would have to stake your Solana on Marinade Finance in order to access Msol. But for Solana, it's basically the native coin of Solana ecosystem, which you can buy from pretty much any major exchange out there, right? The Solana smart contract is available here. So just bear in mind that Msol is a tokenized version of Solana, or it represents Solana plus the staking rewards. So it is a tokenized version, similar to how you have wrapped ETH and ETH, wrapped Sol and Sol. This is basically a kind of tokenized version of the actual original asset Solana, right? So that's something that you guys need to understand carefully. It's a part of the Solana ecosystem, so there's no real unique value proposition apart from the fact that this is just an interest-bearing tokenized version of Solana that you can use in DeFi, right? So the market cap for Msol is only $16.4 million. So if you consider this as its own token entity, then this is a low market cap token, which can grow in the future, because as the Solana ecosystem is growing, a lot of people might want to basically stake their tokens with Marinade Finance instead of staking it with a validator, which gives them no option to use that particular stake token in DeFi applications, right? So most people may choose to stake their Solana tokens with Marinade Finance instead of doing the staking themselves, and that could increase the market cap drastically. And I can easily foresee Solana being a dominant blockchain in the next 5 to 10 years from now, and obviously forever, because I think Solana has managed to capture a specific niche that makes it very easy, quick, as well as cheap to use, while also obviously having its own fan base in and of itself, right? So that's going to make Solana a long-lasting project, despite its occasional shortcomings when the network shuts down abruptly, as well as the slow processing sometimes when the network is stopped or slowed down, as well as the fact that the relative centralization concerns of Solana itself, right? So despite all this, I think Solana ecosystem will continue to grow, and when that happens, the Msol token will also continue to gain in market cap, right? So now it's at $16.4 million. I can easily see this token reaching more than $150 million in market cap in the next bull rally, right? If you look at the volume, clearly a lot of people are buying or either staking and getting Msol instead of Sol, which is why the 24-hour trading volume is up by 96%, and it's currently at $11.5 million in trading volume, right? So that's very impressive information for a project that only has a $16.4 million market cap. And obviously the centralized exchange volume and decentralized exchange volume are given here. It seems like the decentralized exchange volume seems to be the most highest contributor for trading volume for Msol, and centralized exchanges, even though there are a few centralized exchanges that have already listed Msol as its own token, the trading volume seems to be relatively less or significantly less compared to the decentralized exchange volume, right? So this shows that people are starting to use Msol in more DeFi applications than non-DeFi applications as an investment, right? When it comes to max supply, Msol has a max supply as per CoinMarketCap, which is about 488.6 million tokens. And again, the circulating supply information is not fully available, or it's not fully updated, because it says literally 0% of the tokens are in circulation, which is not really true. And to be honest, I think the max supply, circulating supply is really misleading here, because technically, if you lock Solana, they mint an equivalent amount plus interest of Msol, which is given to you, right? So when you deposit your Msol back in order to get Solana, the Msol is burnt. So basically, there's somewhat of a one-to-one correlation between Msol and Sol, right? So this information, when it comes to tokenomics, is not really relevant for this token, because it's kind of like a tokenized version of some other asset, right? When it comes to the charts, you can see, if you consider Marinade Sol token as its own kind of token, this token has been performing poorly. It pretty much mirrors the chart cycle of Solana itself, giving us an indication that there's a direct correlation, right? So if you see the Msol token, which is slightly higher than the Solana price, is always higher than the Solana price. And if you see here, it traded at $154.32 as of 12th of October 2021, pretty much a year ago. And this price started increasing drastically when Solana itself started going up. And as I said, since Solana traded about $250, Msol traded about $260, so there's around a $10 price gap, at any given point of time, up to $10 price gap at any given point of time between Msol and Sol. And this is the all-time high price of Msol, which was achieved as of 5th of November 2021. And then from then on, it started crashing. As Solana price started crashing, a lot of people started selling their Msol to get the Sol back, or unstake their Msol to get the Sol back. And it did bounce up and down a bit before the complete crash that happened, and currently it's trading close to its all-time low right now. So obviously we are in a bear market right now, and therefore a lot of people are not willing to stake their tokens. There are some smart investors who choose to stake, knowing the risks, because they want to accumulate as many staking rewards as they can in the bear market, while in the bull market they can sell all of that to make a profit. There are a lot of newcomers who are afraid that their stake tokens may be unavailable for them, and therefore they are not choosing to stake tokens. So that's the reason why I think Msol is still performing relatively poorly, considering the fact that staking is one of the best means to wear off the bear market, right? So that's clearly the reason why you can see that the Msol token is clear at its all-time low. But this is still not the bad thing about this project. The main concern about this particular Msol token is that people are not really getting the exposure to Msol that they should be getting, right? Not a lot of people know that they can use Marinade Finance to stake their Solana tokens to get Msol. Instead, they're still choosing to stake the Solana tokens with a validator, which will lock their token and will prevent them from accessing the Sol tokens right away. So that kind of education is needed, and that kind of awareness will come eventually after the next few bull markets. But for now, this is the status that we are seeing right now, that Msol is pretty much getting hammered, obviously due to the bear market, right? In an ideal situation, a staked asset like Msol will probably have a good performing value, because a lot of people would not want to have the underlying asset, because they would choose to have the tokenized version of their actual original token, because they would choose to earn interest or staking rewards while also being able to use the Msol token in DeFi applications, right? But that stage hasn't reached yet in the crypto markets due to the general lack of maturity of investors, because it's a very, very new market. People are still figuring out what the Solana ecosystem is and what Sol token is and how to stake it and how to benefit from it. Eventually that maturity will come, and that will benefit the Msol token price heavily, right? So a lot of people ask me how much money I suggest that they put in a particular token, for which I provide 3 different price points. One which is the safest option, another one slightly riskier, another one a degen option. I'm going to go through this as a independent token. I'm not going to tell you guys whether you should stake your Solana or not. I personally feel like everyone should have Sol and Msol, because you can predict the price of the other by knowing the price of the underlying asset itself, and by seeing Msol as just a staked version of Sol, you're not seeing the bigger picture, because Msol can act as its own asset, as its own entity, and you can easily trade Msol and make a lot of money, just like how you make money from trading Sol. But the benefit is that Msol is slightly more expensive than Sol. So if you know the movement of Sol, then you can easily make more money by predicting the movement of Sol on Msol, right? So those are all some of the intricate details that a lot of advanced traders will know. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to consider Msol as its own token. So if you were to not have any Solana, or to have some Solana, I would still suggest you to have a little bit of Msol, but again, it's not financial advice. So how much money should you need to put in order to own Msol, right? So I would choose a safest option of $100. Again, $100 is not going to give you that much Msol tokens. You'd only get 3.03 Msol tokens at the time of making this video. I think the Msol token price will go a little bit lower. So if you wait a little bit longer, maybe a week or two, you'll probably get it at an even more cheaper price point. But for now, let's say putting $100 gives you 3 Msol tokens, right? And this token, as I said, has huge potential to grow in the future. And if it does another 20x easily, you will make $2,000 from a $100 investment. So that's definitely a good deal for a staked asset. And again, if this token does 20x, you can easily withdraw your Solana by converting Msol to Sol and get more Solana tokens, right? So you have an option of either having Msol or converting it to Sol to get more Solana if you believe in the long-term value of Solana itself, right? So that's the benefit of having a tokenized asset. So if you're going to risk, take a little bit of risk in investing in this token, then I suggest you to put no more than $500. Again, depending on your risk tolerance level, you'd get 15.16 tokens at the time I'm making this video. Obviously, if you wait a little longer, you'll be able to buy slightly more tokens. But for now, let's say you're buying it at this price point and you get 15.16 tokens, right? So if this token does a 20x, this token will give you $10,000 in gains from a $500 investment, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. And as I said, if you can choose to have it as Msol, or you can easily convert it to Sol and take that, right? For a degen player, I would say putting no more than $1,000 would be good. But again, for degens, there's no real upper limit. You can put how much ever you want, but putting no more than $1,000 is a pretty comfortable degen move, which will help you to get the maximum gains, but you're also taking the maximum risk as well, right? I don't see Msol going anywhere anytime soon, so I would say 10,000 is not that risky. But if you put $1,000 is not risky. If you put $1,000, you'd get a 30.33 tokens at the time I'm making this video, and that will give you $20,000 if it does a 20x. It's a pretty straightforward calculation. So 20x is easily anticipated for Msol in the next bull rally, but again, it could do even better than that depending on supply and demand, right? I think 20x is a reasonably moderate expectation for a price prediction for Msol, right? So when it comes to buying this token, as I said, buying this token in decentralized exchanges is the best option, but there are certain centralized exchanges where you can buy Msol from. Since Solana and Msol and all these are a part of the big Solana ecosystem, you can buy most of the Solana tokens from FTX, because FTX is a big supporter of the Solana ecosystem. So you can pretty much buy Msol as its own token using US dollars on FTX. You can also buy Msol from Kraken, Get.io, as well as that's pretty much all the centralized exchanges where you can buy this token from, and all the reputed centralized exchanges, which is FTX, Kraken, and Get.io. For decentralized exchanges, you have a lot of options, right? You can buy it from Serum Dex, Radium, Jupiter, Orca, and several other exchanges on Solana. But for now, I'll just stick with a couple of exchanges on decentralized platform. And you can also see that this token has a lot of arbitrage opportunities between different centralized and decentralized exchanges. So if you're trying to make some arbitrage gains, you can do that as well, which is pretty cool and simple. You can buy a token for let's say $30 in one exchange and then sell it for $33 in another exchange to make a quick profit, right? So arbitrage opportunities are also available between centralized and decentralized exchanges. So what's my final thought on Marinade staked Sol? So again, I personally consider this token as its own entity. I'm not going to consider this as a staked version of Sol, even though that is the truth. By considering this as its own token entity, which is independent from staked Sol, you basically see it from a completely different perspective, right? So this, if it were to be its own complete entity, you will easily see that the market cap is only $16 million, so which is very low. So there's a huge potential for this token to grow. It's also earning you staking rewards as you hold on to it, and you can use this in multiple independent DeFi applications on Solana to make even more money on your underlying Sol asset, right? And you can do trading opportunities, arbitrage opportunities, multiple different features are available for Msol, and I'm pretty sure as more and more centralized exchanges start listing this token will have its own form of pumps and dumps, which are independent of the Solana asset itself, right? Which is pretty cool. And since this token is added to the Coinbase's roadmap, I have a high possibility or a hope that this token will get a Coinbase listing pretty soon, which will definitely pump the price of this token, making it decouple from the Sol's price, right? Speaking about decoupling, that's the main concern with this token. There is a risk that this token will lose its peg from the Solana asset. Technically, it's not correlated one-to-one with Solana, because Msol is Solana plus the staked interest that you're earning by staking Solana, but there is a chance that the gap could widen or it could narrow down extremely poorly, and that could make this token completely decoupled from Solana, right? Which will be the only worst thing that I could think about. But the chances of that happening is extremely low because Msol is supported by a lot of venture capitalists, and they have a strong and powerful team who are working extremely hard to not only integrate Msol to multiple DeFi applications, but also to retain its unique value within the Solana ecosystem, right? So I think Msol has a huge potential. I think an easy 20x is possible in the next bull rally. We could even go further than that and make 20 to 25x or 30x in the next bull rally, but 20x is a kind of like a conservative prediction for this token, right? Again, remember guys, you guys are not regular investors, you guys are brutal investors, so stay brutal. Thank you very much for watching my video, guys. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. See you in my next video. Bye.